Hi, first grade parents. This is Miss Barocco. I just wanted to give you a little virtual tour of our classroom so you can see a little bit about our day and how it plays out throughout the day. So just kind of working my way around, show you different things your kids see throughout the day. We have our little beach bags here. This is where they keep their beach towels. They trade this out for their backpacks. That really comes in handy from where we're sitting out for our mass breaks and having our snack. And we have our little word wall here. We're starting to build words. And also when your students come in, they just, or your children come in, they just give me two of their two folders, their homework folder and also their blue take-home folder. And so I just review the homework and sort them here so we can get them back at the end of the day. Just do a little pan around here. You can see we have a lot of different materials and different things on the wall. So I kind of wanted to kind of go over them one by one so you can just see a little bit. We have our library here. As one of the centers that we have when I'm pulling kids to read for me, then they get to go shopping for books, and you can see on their desks that they have just a collection of books there. You get to get about 5 books on Monday to keep throughout the week so that when they finish their center work or we have some extra time that they can read books of their choosing there. We also, of course, have leveled readers that we'll be using for their ability levels for small groups as well. But that's just a little bit of time for themselves to explore books that they choose. Let's see here. Let's look at our job chart here. This is an important feature. I trade these out each week. Our line leader, we're starting to do whoever our Panther of the Month is. So we had 2. They'll alternate weeks. Me is this week, and so we have our other Panther of the Month who will be next week. And that was Ellery. So then we have our weather girl. She helps out with calendar time, or boy, depends on who it is. And we'll talk about that in a minute when I go over our math calendar. Our librarian helps with the books. And then we have prayer leader. That's really important too. We have our prayers throughout the day. We have, I have a little pointer here, and our prayer leader helps us out with that during, before our meals, before we have lunch, at the end of the day, in the afternoon, points like that we have where we want to have time for prayer, and our prayer leader comes up and leads us in that. And so they get to point on the chart where the prayers as we follow along. So that's an important job there. Let me come around here. We have our calendar time that we do. So we're counting down the 100 days of school. As you can see, how far we've gotten so far. We have various things we're doing with calendar. Some we've added, some we'll add more as time goes on throughout our Saxon math curriculum. But first of all, there's a focus on months of the year, days of the week, understanding what order those go in, the month, the day, the year. We're also working with counting our 100 days of school, groups of 10s and 1s. So we've had 12 days of school so far. We haven't had a student of the day yet, but we will be starting to do that. And you can see we're also charting them on our number line here. We're going to go all the way to 100 days of school. Whenever we get to a group of 10, we write it in red because we can do our skip counting that way by 10s. So we have a lot of space to fill, but that'll get us to the 100 days of school there. Let's see. We'll come around here. Something we go over. Just in terms of class rules, we like to focus on things that help us be better learners, where we're being kind to each other, but we're also able to learn and be our best. So I focus with the kids on whole body listening. They're thinking about different parts of their body and what it needs to be doing when we're focused on our work. So they know this. We say it together: eyes watching, ears listening, mouth quiet, hands empty, body still. And there are class rules there, just focusing on what we need to do our best. And we also, you can see here, we have a little graph here. This is something that helps me not only know who has home and school lunch for the day, but we have several graphs here. That's something we've been working on in math. So this particular graph involves clothespins, and it's a graph that goes from left to right. And we want kids to see all the different ways graphs can look. Sometimes they go left to right. Sometimes they have, they might have words like with the names. We have our clips here. But a lot of times and so they put their clips for where they're, for what lunch they had that day. But a lot of times we have graphs that are pictographs. We're talking about picture graphs, how sometimes that's how we look at data and information. So the weather girl, I mentioned that job earlier, sometimes it's a boy, will chart the weather. So far we've had all these sunny and cloudy days. We have had some rain, but by the time we did the weather report, it was back to cloudy. So that's what we put down. And we're charting that. We can compare information that way, more, less, fewer. Just and how much fewer sunny days have we had, that how many more sunny days to cloudy days, things like that come in very helpful. There's another pictograph here. We talked about our favorite animals. So kids are also seeing that you can do this straight up and down instead of just side to side. And you can also see the things we're reinforcing here, our counting on our hundreds chart, days of the week, months of the year. Down here, I've been working on leveling off kids and finding the right reading level for them. So I've been doing a lot of testing these past couple of weeks. Down here, you can see I have all these little books that are in these files here of different levels, and I've been pulling them over here one at a time to come sit with me and read and ask questions about what we're reading, so that I can find out what their comprehension level is, their reading fluency, what they need. And that helps me understand better, so we can find the right reading level and reading group for them. Once we do have reading groups, which will be very soon, we have all some leveled readers here. This is some of the ones we'll be using. So the different groups will be leveled off by that, and so we can make sure they get the help they need for how they need it. While I'm pulling kids to test, and eventually for small groups too, they're working on centers. Now, centers, of course, look a little different this year since we're spread out and not in groups, but they're still doing a lot of hands-on materials. So instead, we just kind of, in order to use our own materials, so that we're trying not to share too many things, we don't, just in terms of not wanting to touch the same materials this year, they have a lot of things in their desks that help out with that. For instance, we have just like bags in each desk of Unifix cubes for math. They also have dice in there, so we can make graphs, building that with both Unifix cubes that we have, and building those graphs, and also doing them with dry erase markers and drawing them in. Let's see here. You can see, in order to not have quite as many shared materials, we each have our own individual Play-Doh, so that can be used. Oftentimes we're using that for building words. So some of those spelling words that you have this week, as well as the letter sounds we're working on, they are going to be making those words, and then they can form them with Play-Doh. They can also write them with dry erase markers at their desk. It's just a little more hands-on way of doing something that's a little more fun for them and a little more tactile than pencils and paper. Let's see here. Here's another center activity we have here. This is another one. They have their own individual ones with names on them, where they can build words. So I turn this around, they can twist it with the vowel in the middle, and they can make words. And after they've made them on here, that's another thing they can use their Play-Doh or dry erase boards to do. Let's see here. I want to go over some of our curriculum. As I mentioned, we're doing Saxon math. So calendar is part of that, but those worksheets that you're seeing that are coming home for homework, and we do the first side, that's also part of that. And you're reinforcing that at home when you do the other side of the lesson we learned that day. And let's see here. For religion, various things we're doing, but one of the things we've been using the most is our Be My Disciples workbook here. And this has just various lessons in it talking about God's love, and we have discussion questions about it, and also activities that we do. So that's after morning prayer. We have if it's not a day where we have mass, we have our morning prayer, and we have our religion time. And then also we've got these science books too. Now, not everything we've done in science is just strictly with workbooks. We also have mystery science, but this is science fusion. So we have a lot of inquiry. We've been talking about our senses, the 5 senses, and what scientists do and how they know so much. That's a large part of what we've been talking about. So let's see here. I think it pretty much covers all the main points throughout the day. I've just really enjoyed your kids. They're just so wonderful, and this is just such the sweetest class. So if you have any questions about what we're doing throughout the day or anything else, please just let me know, and I'm happy to help out. Have a great day. Thank you.